be.
All right, AJ, give me some mic checks.
Okay. Check.
Okay, that's good. Check. Cheaty, check. Microphone 1, check 2.
You're registering good.
All right, cool. What?
All greens.
Who's doing the goofy intro today?
This week you are doing the goofy intro because I did the weird one last week.
Okay, I'll come up with it. I will.
Hey, we don't have a topic for today.
Okay, well, we could do heavy equipment, arc flash, silica, asbestos, fire prevention, recordkeeping, welding, how to survive ocean inspection, safety return on investment, emergency action plans, skills of safety professional, concrete, demolition, steel erection, CPR, first aid, AED, industrial hydrant, or operator certifications. Any of those sounded getting your juices flowing like, yeah, I want to talk about that today.
Well, we recently did some stuff on like training and stuff. Maybe do like a little ROI.
The business side of safety?
Business side of safety.
I don't know if we're prepared for it. Oh, snap, we're recording. Should we just erase and go over or just go with it?
Let's go with it.
Okay. All right. Well, goofy intro starts now.
I was thinking we could try to think of like one of your goofy movies to do at the beginning.
How about that was the goofy intro?
That works for me.
All right, everybody.
We'll just keep
Welcome to an episode of Evil Safety Dudes. We're a podcast about all things safety and security, how not to die at work, regardless if it's getting sucked into a machine or being shot by an active killer. We are all things safety, your one-stop shop for all your safety needs.
That's right, except you can't really buy stuff here.
No, but
like
you could hire us to do safety
It's a
stuff for you.
one-stop. Hello.
Like IBC, we're
I
like
mean,
a
yeah, I
one-stop
guess.
shop.
That's
The
true.
podcast isn't.
No.
We're your one-stop shop for all things safety, security, mixed in with a little bit of humor.
Welcome to the IBC Safety Studio, our podcast for. Joined with me in the fort today is Mr. Aaron Iacino.
It is I, that guy.
He is an authorized OSHA outreach instructor in the general industry and construction, here to talk some safety sense into you today.
And I'm joined by AJ Hanscom, and he is the same, and he is also going to appeal to your good nature and try to get you to implement safety and enforce it and maintain it and
really make
reduce
you
workplace
swoon
incidents.
with safety.
Yes.
Ugh.
And those reasons are why we are the evil safety dudes.
Yeah. People
Just-
don't want to be safe for some
Now,
reason.
just today I was doing an inspection before we got here. Two guys standing on the top rail of a scissor lift. Old
Cool.
guys, too.
Oh,
you know,
right
like 60 plus.
They just climbed right
dudes.
up there.
And
Good to
they're
go.
tied off both to the same guardrail.
Like the scissor lift guardrail?
No, they're standing on that, but there's a guardrail on a platform above them, like on a mezzanine.
Okay.
And they're both tied off the same guardrail, and one's got a choker. It's an actual fall protection connecting device, but he's got it like as a choker versus tying into both rings, so he's gonna fall really far.
Sure.
You know,
It would
and
just
hit the
keep
ground
stretching out, yeah.
because the scissor lift wasn't that high up. And then his buddy's got an anchor strap connector rigged, so he would definitely hit the ground.
Good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and it's wet. Everything's wet.
So if they slip, they're both probably going to knock each other down.
Yeah,
One
for
will pull
sure.
the other,
Yeah.
and then they're both just going to hit the ground. Like,
Yeah,
all the
and even
way.
if one stays standing, the other one could break the guardrail and pull the other one down.
Oh, yeah.
And a scissor rail, top rail,
Right.
inch and a half.
Inch and a half.
And they're both standing
Teeny
on that.
tiny.
Yeah, like they were both probably 300, 250 to 300 pounds.
Good. Excellent.
Yeah, standing on the same rail.
That's what you want to see.
They were standing on the same scissor lift rail and then tied off to the same handrail.
Like, if you're going to go big, go big.
Yeah,
If
might
you're
as
going
well
to break
take
the
out
rules, break as many
two
rules
of
as you can.
your top people at the same time, because they're not grunts. They were
Right.
they were bosses.
But,
you
man,
know?
that's common. We've heard that forever.
Yeah.
Haven't you always heard that? If you stand on a scissor rail guardrail or scissor lift guardrail, all you got to do is tie off, and you're in full compliance.
Yeah, I've heard that 100 times.
Yeah, forever. It's not true. It's never been true, but people do it anyway. It's just crazy.
What rule are they breaking?
It's two rules.
Okay.
So one is unless you can prove that it is infeasible, every working surface on a scaffolding must be at least 18 inches wide.
Okay. Oh, I got you. I see where you're going with that one.
Yep. And so
Okay.
that rail is...
They really need their own scissor lift
They
rules.
do. And the other one is any surface or any walking working surface that you are going to stand on on scaffolding must be capable of supporting 4 times the maximum intended load.
Okay, so
And that guardrail is designed to support 200 pounds.
well, that's the OSHA reg. It could be more, but they had 600 pounds on it.
Oh yeah, so that thing would have to be designed to hold 2,400 pounds in order to be compliant.
Probably not likely.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, what are we talking about?
We
today?
actually do have to pick a topic at some point.
Let's eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a safety topic by the toe. My mom, I don't even remember that. Told me to pick the very best one, and you are it.
Close your eyes.
Record keeping.
Record keeping. Oh shit.
Whoops. That is the second cuss word on the evil safety dudes, both coming from the AJ side of the booth. And I'm not taking the time to edit out. So, hey, if you have small or young kids that listen to this while they're while you're driving around,
there's like a 1 in 30 chance.
And I gave you a disclaimer after it, so
good.
My
Excellent.
bad.
Even better. I was gonna say, oh snap, we haven't done one on record keeping. I got too excited.
So we did do one on electronic reporting,
right,
which is an aspect of record keeping. So we'll stay away from that.
Sure.
Let's go old school 300, 301, 300A.
Yep.
Boom.
We'll get and then so I mean we'll focus on like maybe what needs to go on it.
Yeah.
What counts as recording.
We're really gonna have to use our brain to visualize those columns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, we should prep more for these shows.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think people like the idea of us flying by the seat of our pants.
And by the way, if you don't have those forms, you can download them for free at www.osha.gov. It's in the record keeping section. They have a really sweet Excel spreadsheet that you could download for free. And it's awesome because when you start typing in the 300, it automatically populates it in your 301.
Which is nice because then you don't have to figure out.
It puts it in your 300A, not your 301.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Not the 301.
So that's pretty cool because I'm tired of seeing handwritten OSHA logs.
It's not great. Plus, when you handwrite them, you're going to miss a lot of what should be
You just open yourself up to errors.
Yeah.
I have worked a case where a company did get 13 violations because, when OSHA comes in, they ask for the last 5 years of the logs a lot of times, most of the times.
Yeah.
And this company gave them 5 years, and they found 13 issues, and OSHA cited them 13 violations for record keeping.
Ooh.
For record keeping.
For record keeping.
Now, it was cheap. It was $100 a pop, but $1,300 for typos.
Just for the way you filled out a form.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
oh, my goodness.
And that was...
That's nitpicky,
but
at the same time.
That was a long time ago, too.
Yeah.
Well, there was amputation involved, so OSHA was going to get these folks.
Yeah.
But still, and, it's gone up since then because...
I'm sure.
That was, I don't know, 15 years ago.
I bet.
Yeah. All right, well, let's start with the who has to do record keeping.
So there's a big old list, people. There's lists for everything. You got 2 lists. You got the one list that goes by your NAICS code, and it'll tell you whether or not you have to report.
I feel something coming on here. AJ, you threw out a fancy acronym.
Okay.
NAICS. What does that stand for?
It's like National American. North American. North American Industrial.
NAI.
Yeah, standardized.
ACS?
NAICS.
NAICS. Yeah, so North American Industrial
Code Standard.
Classification
Standard. Code Standard.
I don't know. I failed too, so.
I'm going to Google it.
But, it used to be your SIC code.
North American Industry Classification System.
Ooh, system. Okay. All right. So every business falls under, well, I mean, not always, but it falls close to one of those codes.
Right. And so, fun fact, everybody, they don't tell you which one to use. If you actually get on and you start doing your research, looking at what your company does, they actually have their little guidelines on the NAICS information, which is the Census Bureau.
And there's a link if you're in the OSHA website and you're in the record keeping standard. There's hyperlinks right to NAICS.
They'll point you over there, and then you determine what your code is for your business. And usually it's pretty easy.
You could type in, say you did boat repair.
Yeah. So
You could type in boat repair, and it'll give you like 5 options, and
Yep.
industrial boat repair or
And there are groups
barge
that'll,
repair.
like,
or,
for a fee, they'll look up the best one for you and do all that
Really?
digging. So, yeah.
Why don't we do that?
There are groups that
I would totally charge to tell people what NAICS code. We always do that
maybe
for free.
new service will start
People are
charging
charging for that?
Yeah. But, hey, everything. Everybody make $1 on something.
Cool.
But, yeah, once you get your NAICS code, it'll match up to what you do. So, if, you're an HVAC company, you'll get a code for that. Plumbers, electricians, welders, boat repair.
And for a small
woodworking.
fee, AJ and Aaron will tell you which one best suits your business.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
So, once you get your code, you can go to OSHA.gov.
How much should we charge for that?
Free.
Let's go free for clients. But
I like
for,
to get paid in tacos.
For yeah, no, we can't.
Tacos
we can't do
for-
that. It's not taxable.
Hey, don't tax my tacos.
We'll just do an hour of consulting.
Like an hour of consulting to figure out your NAICS code and give you
Yeah.
our best stab at it.
Yep.
Because really, like,
Because
some
we
of
got to
it can
talk
get-
to them for a minute to figure out what they do. We probably should go visit them so we could really see what they do, and then go spend a couple minutes on the website. So,
Heck yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
$150.
150. Not bad.
Or no,
Figure
that's
out
our
your-
awareness level rates.
Yeah, it's $100.
$100.
Consulting.
Yeah, that's cheap.
That's not bad. All right.
We should do 500 just for fun.
Just for
see if we
fun.
can get anybody to pay it.
Somebody's listening right now going, that's outrageous. They just turned us off. $500. That's
$500,
outrageous.
and we'll figure out what your NAICS code is.
So once you've got your code, you're going to go ahead and check it out on OSHA.gov and go through one of their big lists. And one of their lists says you have to report if you're on this list. And so you go through that whole list, and they're, of course, thankfully in order. So, if you're
Numerical order.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
your code is in the 1200s, you don't have to keep going. You literally can just go to about numerically where your number would be and find it. And then there's a whole nother list that tells you if you're not going to need to report, if you're exempt.
Right. And if you are on that list, if your NAICS code is on the list where they say you have to fill out these logs, then there's still a way out.
All right. All right, Aaron. What's the secret way out?
You have under 10 employees.
Under 10 employees. What happens if I have 10?
You got to do it.
What happens if most of the time I have 9, but sometimes I have 10?
To my knowledge, you still got to do it.
Yeah.
It's at 10 at any point in that year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could be in the code that needs it, but have under 10 and then don't do it. And it gets deeper on establishments.
Yeah.
Like one company could have several different locations. And if your locations meet the definitions of like a standalone establishment, it's 10 or more at that place. It's not as a whole, which is nice because we've had clients that fit that before. They had 4 locations, 3 of them had to do it, 1 didn't have to do it.
Well,
even
'cause
though it
there's
was
like
one company.
3 people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of loopholes. Record keeping, I tell you what, it's a tough one.
It is. It's
What's
really in and out.
recordable? What's not recordable?
So basically,
work
you got to report
related?
if you're on the list, if you've got over 10 employees,
Yep.
right? And then you don't have to report if you're on the do not report list or you have under 10 employees.
What are you talking about, a report list? I'm unfamiliar with that term.
Oh, record. Oh, gosh. I've already started.
Well, I thought you knew something I don't. What you do, you study more than I do. So
Ah.
maybe I was
I sit down
going to
to read
learn
these
something
things.
today.
Yeah, so, well, because I was thinking, no matter what, if you fill out your record keeping form,
Right.
like they're at the point right now where if you have to fill it out, you have to report it on OSHA.gov.
No,
Like
I
if you-
disagree.
I would disagree with you.
Because your
but-
electronic reporting requirements is you have to be in the NAICS code and you have to have 20.
Oh, to report.
So I could have 11 and have to fill it out, but not have to electronically report
Because
because
I'm
I'm
under
20.
20. Yeah.
But I think as a standard, you're right, because most employers can have over 20. So if they're already on that list that they have to fill out the forms, they probably 80% of the time would have to do the electronic reporting.
I bet there's plenty of people that are in that in between that I just lied to, so I'm feeling good about that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all right, man. This is our stellar preparation coming through for us.
So ready.
All right, so let's say we're on the list. Our code's on the list. We have to do it. We have over 10 people. We have to do it. We get the forms from OSHA. We download them, and let's say I just found out right now it's whatever, June, 2021. So what do I do now?
So for this, if that's where you're at, we'd have to find out if there are any current open injuries.
All right.
If there was anything that, it might not even be open anymore. It might be closed already because it's June. But if we've had any injuries from January 1 until now, they need to get put on that OSHA log.
Right. And really what we deal with a lot is a company realizes, through us, through our consulting, that they have to be doing these and they have nothing.
Oh.
So they actually go back and
They
fill
got a
out
couple
5 years worth.
yeah.
So if you're in that boat, that's a fun day for you. Fun week.
I always kind of preface that when I'm training in class. I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to say the word fun and great and terrific a lot, but really they mean the opposite.
Yeah. So let's start with that. Let's say a company realize, oh man, we've been supposed to doing this, and OSHA could come in and ask for the last 5 years, and we don't have jack. So what would they do? How do they go back and create? So what's it? 21.
Yeah.
So they need 21, 20, 19, 18, 17.
Yeah.
So, and maybe even 16
Probably.
if OSHA doesn't count 21.
Yeah.
So how do you make a 2016 OSHA 300 log?
Well, hopefully you've been doing good record keeping, and you can go back and you can pull all those injuries your employees have had.
So what?
Maybe doctor's visits, maybe receipts.
Documents are they pulling?
So hopefully, if you filled out any, and now I doubt since they didn't know OSHA existed, they don't have any 301s.
Probably not.
Right? But maybe they have their own injury reporting.
Yeah, you got incident reports, accident reports,
Right?
accident investigation reports. Maybe they have it, maybe they don't have any of that. So what else would they have? There's a piece of paper.
The only thing left is going to be doctor's notes.
Yeah, so if your HR department's on it and you got this employee like, oh, I got hurt, and they're like, bring the doctor's note in.
Right.
But they also have something if it's a work, because we're only talking about work
If
injuries.
it was a work-related thing, your last resort, if you got nothing, is you can contact your agent usually. And this is something we do for our clients all the time.
Your booking agent?
Your insurance agent. Hello. Yes, I would like to fly to Punta Cana. And also,
travel agent?
When did that guy get injured? So, contact your insurance agent, right? And then this is something that we do for our clients all the time is they'll call us up and they'll say, hey, 3 years ago, yada, yada, got hurt. Do you have any more of the details on that and stuff? And, of course, because, we meticulously track all that stuff, we have all the back and forth from their carrier, all the back and forth to their doctor. So we have the dates, when it happened, when they went on light duty, when they went back to full duty, prescriptions. So it that whole breakdown,
physical
a lot
therapy
of stuff you
bills.
Yeah, it's right there, and we have it if you've lost that. So it's really helpful. Contacting your insurance agent.
And would a loss runs report help you or no?
Loss runs can kind of help because what you'll see right on there.
A clue.
Yeah, there'll be like a
be
number,
a lead,
and then there'll be like a dollar amount, and you're gonna be like, okay, that's probably linked to
if Joe Schmo, if employee Joe Schmo in 2016 had a $10,000 claim,
right,
it's probably recordable.
Yeah, so we're looking at that. We're gonna go, okay, we should contact
we should dig
your
into
carrier or the doctor's office and figure out what the.
That's the other thing I was gonna say. Calling the doctor's office, I've done it before, man. Med records. If it's an old one like 2016, they ship you to medical records, and then you go, hi, I'm so and so with so and so company, and trying to build a log, and we had an employee get treated by your hospital or your clinic in 2016. This is their name, and they'll send you anything you need.
See, now that works well in your case because it's super specific,
right?
But if you just go and you go, hi, I'm with ABC fell off the roof company,
right?
Do you have any of our files?
Yeah, that would be difficult. They need names and years. MedRecs. I mean, they got search engines now.
I'm sure it's better.
Files are mainly digital these days, but they could do a search for your company. But it's better, the more information you have. All right, so let's say you dug up every injury, every piece of paper, every loss run, every doctor's paperwork you can find, and let's say you got 3 injuries in 2016.
Okay.
Do you put them all on your 300 report?
Well, so we have to determine whether or not they're recordable.
Recordable. So, off the top of your head, how many recordable criteria can you think of?
Okay, so without trying to look up stuff,
Yeah.
without looking up,
You just
stuff.
emailed somebody the other day on this.
Yeah,
So
that was just straight
Yeah,
up the top of my
it
head.
was pretty good.
Okay, so I always start with the reportables because those are always recordable. So I always go amputation, loss of an eye, hospitalization, and death.
Yep.
If those things happen,
Those are reportables.
reportable.
Not to be confused with recordable.
We should probably do a whole one on
Reportable is different than recordable. But if it is a reportable to OSHA injury, it's going to be recordable as well.
Yeah.
Just to confuse you thoroughly.
Yes.
We've got to do our job today.
And I've already confused it like once at the
All
beginning.
Right.
So
if it's reportable, it's recordable.
yes.
All right,
so
what
I start
else?
there. And then I always go to, just because it's so hard to get out of, is loss of consciousness.
Okay.
That's
Someone gets knocked out.
Yes. Well,
You got to record that?
Yeah, fainting, even going in. And now here's one, because there's conflicting letters of interpretation now. I have two.
That's fun.
Yeah, there's one that says, even if you voluntarily went and did something medical and fainted because you're not good with needles, that's recordable. And then I have in another one saying that exact same thing is not recordable.
Right. I would use that one. If they were saying, why didn't you record this? I would pull out that.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right.
And let them say, well, no, it is. And let them realize
they can fight with themselves. So loss of consciousness, though, for almost any reason, other than like medical and on a break.
Okay. What else you got?
Anytime you have to take, or anytime a doctor orders prescription medication.
Okay, any prescription to treat that workplace injury.
Oh, so at this point, sorry, everybody, I should have prefaced this next part because all the stuff I'm going to try to list off is the stuff that OSHA says happens after first aid. Because anything beyond first aid is an OSHA recordable.
Any treatment beyond first aid.
Yes. So I'm trying to make the list of things that they count as beyond first aid. They actually have a bigger list than I can remember, but these are kind of like the big ones that you'll run into if you're looking at a doctor's note. So if a doctor prescribes medication, so if a doctor says, oh, this happened to you, you're going to need to take, 200 milligrams, whatever.
800 milligram ibuprofen.
Yeah, they'll do that too. Yeah, if they give you prescription ibuprofen or prescription Tylenol, yeah, that's going to be recordable. It's got to go on your log. Another one is stitches. Stitches will get you because that is a medical procedure. Does not count as first aid. That's
beyond first aid.
Yep, does not get us. A doctor's a doctor's, now I said prescription, I lost the word.
Well, we haven't covered light duty yet.
Yeah, so what do you call that when they there you go, a doctor's diagnosis.
Oh, a diagnosis. A diagnosis
so
could make it recordable.
Yeah, diagnosed if they have lost time. So,
which is bad one. A lost time injury is bad. That's where a doctor says they're so hurt they can't go to work for 7 days.
Yeah, that doesn't count the day you're on, though, so don't get confused.
The day of the injury doesn't count.
Yep, so if it's Monday morning, AJ goes to work, I am grabbing a hammer and I belt myself in the thumb and I go see my doctor and he goes, take the rest of the day off. I'll be back to work first thing Tuesday morning. I'll be like, okay. And depending on how that whole thing shakes down, because, if he adds medication or whatever, then I'm screwed. But if he just says, nope, you bonked your thumb, you can have the rest of the day off, that doesn't count as lost time.
Or if he gave you something to do that was first aid, like go home and ice it.
Yeah.
That's first aid.
Right? That's just first aid. So it
doesn't
count
a lot of people get confused. They think because the doctor gave them an ice pack, then that somehow is medical treatment. I mean, it technically is, but not in OSHA's eyes.
Right,
in OSHA's eyes, that's still first aid.
Medical
it doesn't
treatment
matter
is
if a
first
doctor or a nurse or the foreman does it.
Right.
If it's first aid, it's first aid.
First aid's first aid.
So that one would not be recordable.
Right. And then light duty, which Aaron already hit for us. Light duty is another one.
Restricted duty, job transfer, all kind of the same.
Hey, you can go back to work today, but for the rest of this week and next week until whatever date, you can't lift more than 20 pounds. Well, boom, your work has been restricted.
Those are some of the worst restrictions ever. Not the ones you mentioned, but on those forms.
Yeah.
They're like percentage-wise. You can only use your right arm 40% of the time. You can only squat 10% of the time. You can only stand this. How do you live that? Like, the person's not going to do it, and the HR, the safety person, they can't babysit someone for 8 hours going, all right, you've just met your 30% of right arm usage, lifting your arm above your head. For the rest of the day, you can't lift your arm above the head.
You're done.
There are restrictions, but they're not user-friendly.
Now, some of the lesser, those, in my opinion, that's the big list.
Right.
Those are the common ones. There's
Okay.
some lesser.
Those are the big ticket items.
Here's another one. If you get something in your eye, like
Okay.
let's say you get like a little thing in your eye, technically, if they flush it out, if they can just rinse it out, then you're good.
That's first aid.
That's first aid. I can't remember where the Q-tip landed.
That's first aid.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
they
then
let that one be first aid. If
anything past that, like if they got to use tweezers
or a dye.
or a dye or a magnet,
Yeah.
that doesn't count as first aid
Never
anymore.
seen them use a magnet. That'd be cool.
It would be cool.
I've seen a lot of eye injuries, but usually it's the dye
Yeah.
and the special otoscope type thing,
So the
not
little grabber.
otoscope, but what the optometrists use.
Yeah.
And then, usually Q-tip at that point because they can identify it.
Right.
But
if
you've
they can-
had several that your guys waited too long and they had to
Yes.
do surgery.
Yep.
So that's for sure recordable. Then that's treatment.
Yeah,
beyond
that
first
restaurant
aid.
removal surgery. Ugh.
But the other booger thing about that one specifically, because that prescription clause is in there,
Mm-hmm.
that doctor could do first aid and just see it, swipe it out, but then say, you know what, I'm going to give you some prophylactic antibiotics.
Yeah.
Like, just so you don't get an infection. You don't have one, but so you don't get one. Prophylactically, preventatively, we're going to give you antibiotics.
I might actually have a loophole for that one I saved within the last year. After
Okay.
They added it to another letter that came out more recently after, because the tetanus shot does not count.
Okay.
They removed that from.
It's not
treatment beyond.
technically treatment,
Right. So
Right.
if you go in and you got poked by a nail
right?
and no extra treatment, maybe they just throw a Band-Aid on it and they just kind of clean it out and call it good.
Right.
Cool. No recordable. But then they're like, you got hit with nail, so
Let's give you a booster.
yep, need a tetanus shot. OSHA says now the tetanus shot no longer recordable.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish
So-
prophylactic antibiotics
Yeah,
would be in there because technically
might be
they're not
something in there.
treating,
The
they're
injury.
preventing an infection.
Yeah.
But I know diagnostic dyes don't count either.
Right, because it's way
It's
beyond
not treat-
first aid.
Well, no, they don't count
Oh, they don't count.
because it's not treatment.
Because, I was
They're
thinking
looking
when they
to
use it
see
go
if
in
there
with
is something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's say in our fictitious story back to 2016, we gathered all those documents.
Yeah.
We compared them, those 3 injuries to those criterias, and they all were recordable. One got prescription, one got light duty, one got days away.
Okay.
So then that first little column on that 300 is case number. What do we do for that?
Okay, now
How do we get our case number?
I don't want to forget, so I pulled that up.
Is it the doctor's case number? Like, what do we put in there? This is
You
super
can put
common.
whatever you want in
That's
there.
the common question I get. Aaron, I didn't know what to put in there.
Case number 1.
Yeah.
Case number 1A.
What I do
Like-
personally is I do the year. So
I do the
if it's
same.
16, I'll go 16-1 or something.
Oh, I make it 100. So I go 1601. So 1601.
Okay. But point is, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's your internal case number.
Yep.
All right, then employee name.
Employee name.
And then what's after that?
Should we be playing Ask Aaron? Because
That'd
I'm looking at the
be a
list.
tough
And
one.
Aaron doesn't
Go
have
for
the
it.
list.
It's only fair.
So the first one, of course, is employee name. You already got it.
No, first is case number.
Well, I'm looking at okay,
Okay,
yeah.
and then employee
so Case
name.
number, employee name, and then
Da-
right
data injury.
close. They want you to give some
where
more
they work?
information about the employee.
Oh, job title.
There you go. So it goes case number, employee name, job title, and then
And then where the injury happened or date of injury.
date of injury, and
Where-
then followed
Where the
by
injury occurred.
where the injury occurred, and then lastly,
Is it column F?
yep,
Okay, then that's describe.
that's the describe one.
And if you have it up, if you could read it, because nobody reads this. We audit these all the time for our clients, and nobody reads what they're supposed to put into column F.
Okay, so it says describe injury or illness, part of body affected, an object or substance that directly injured or made them ill.
That's 3 things.
Yep.
First one again.
Describe the injury or illness.
Okay, so they want the medical diagnosis.
Right.
They don't want say boo-boo on thumb.
So what was that first person you said got hurt?
Well, we did.
Prescription.
Okay. So describe the injury or illness. So you got medical diagnosis, and what was 2?
The part of the body.
Okay, and it's got to be descriptive. You can't say
Arm.
you can't. Yeah, is it right or left or hurt
Right.
finger?
And is it
There's
like-
5 fingers.
Right. Exactly. Well, 10,
Most of the
I mean,
time,
yeah.
yeah. And then the object that directly affected them.
Yep.
So let's go slipped on ice and hit head and got a concussion.
Okay, so then you'd put concussion would be our diagnosis.
Okay.
To the head from fall from ice.
Slip on ice.
Because that would be the thing that directly affected. Or like one of the ones I've had to write before was, contusion to right forearm from slip and fall on ice.
Okay.
Because they fell over, they got a bruise on
But
their
it hit
arm.
all three.
Yes.
Let's say a guy's opening a box with a box cutter, and
Okay.
he messes up, and he gets his left middle finger, 2-inch laceration. It's bad, it's deep, they got to stitch it up.
So you use the medical word, you didn't just say cut.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'd put on there laceration.
Left middle finger.
Yep.
From box cutter while opening
Box cutter,
yeah.
There you go.
Like,
And they have an example. So if you're looking at the sheet, they wrote right on their example. 2nd-degree burn on right forearm from acetylene torch. So boom,
Yep.
they're like,
All
this
three.
is how you should do it.
that's where, I'm talking from me in my experience, 95% of the issues when I'm auditing a log before they send it into OSHA, they're always in column F.
Oh, yeah. I agree
They
with that.
forgot diagnosis, the part of the body, what hurt them. So, take the time to fill it out correctly because OSHA does cite on that.
Yep.
All right, and then next one
Is this big column that says classify case. And it's
and
kind of...
what I remember from that, and I see this done wrong all the time too, is they only want you to check the most severe.
Correct.
So you have death, lost time, and restricted duty,
And then other.
Yeah. But a lot of times, if you have a lost time injury,
Yeah, you're going to
when they do come back to work, it's light duty.
Right.
So one injury is technically both lost time and restricted duty, and so people put a check on each one.
Right. They'll do
But
both.
they're not supposed to.
They're not.
Could you prove it for me? Because it gives directions.
It
right?
says right at the top, check only one in great big capital letters. Check only one.
the most severe.
Yeah, box for each based on the most serious outcome for that case.
Yeah.
So like if someone died, obviously you're not going to check death, check days away, check restricted. Like that would just be excessive. You would just check
That would
death.
be a weird case, by the way.
If
If they got off work for a week, came back on light duty, and then died from the injury.
Well, I'm just assuming, if they were at work and died, they're obviously not coming back, so days away.
Yeah, but they never got prescribed light duty. Or
I'm not
giving.
giving dead guy full duty. There's no way he's on restrictions. You cannot operate heavy machinery.
It could happen though.
You are dead.
It's,
It
people could
actually
die
happen.
from a blood clot from a surgery afterwards.
Right.
It could happen.
But just like in your example, that's a very common one. Someone will get injured, they'll have days away, they'll come back on light duty, they'll check both boxes. It says right on there, don't check two boxes, just check one box.
All right. And then after that, now they want numbers, right?
Yeah, enter the number of days the injured or ill worker was. In the first column, column K, it says days away, and the second column says on the job with transfer or restrictions, column L.
Hey, I got one for you.
Uh-oh.
We talked about this case before where the guy died on the boom lift, but he got resuscitated.
Oh, yeah.
They used an AED on him and shocked him back to life.
Okay.
So it could have been a death.
Yep.
And when he went in, he probably got a couple days off. He was back to work like 10 days later.
Jeez.
For real.
So fast.
So it could have, could have been all three in that case.
I think to record death, though, I think you have to be medically declared dead.
Okay.
Because technically,
Fair enough.
if they're just using the AED on you, you could be in fibrillation. Like you could
Yeah,
have a heart
ventricular
rate.
fibrillation. You could have brain activity.
Yeah, you could have a heart rate that's so minuscule you can't register it on a pulse.
You're on
but-
death's doorsteps.
Yeah, but I think OSHA says to record death, you got to be declared
all right,
dead.
fine. I thought I had one to meet your story.
I mean, that'd be super cool. Be like, yeah, I was dead. When'd you come back to work? A couple days ago. How long were you off? Oh, I got 5 days off of that. Cool.
Then 3 days light duty.
Still, my favorite was when I was doing my OSHA 500 series. Apparently, somebody went in with a mild case of electrocution on their doctor's note. Had to be back to work by Monday.
Yeah, that was just misuse of the words.
Right?
Electrocution is death.
Death by
from
electricity.
electrical shock. Yeah.
So they had a mild case of electrocution.
What would be appropriate? Mild case of
They were
electric shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. shocked.
They probably had electrical burns.
I got shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
Electrical burns. Yeah.
Mild case.
All right, so
Sending all my
after
sick guys
recording
in now.
how many days you were away from work, how many days you were on restricted duty, then they want you to classify the whole
Yeah, it's
injury. Was it
column M.
hearing
end.
loss, illness?
Oh, the Zoom is failing me on this. So column 1 is injury. So if it was an injury, then you would
which is the most common one.
most common.
Yeah.
Right. But then there's skin disorder,
Okay.
respiratory condition,
Right.
poisoning,
Sounds good.
hearing loss. Sounds good. I like that. There you go.
Inconceivable.
You keep using that word. Hearing loss, and then last one was all other. I think it's diseases. I can't make out that last little smear there, but
Thought they were going to add musculoskeletal disorders on there
Ooh,
eventually.
start
Cumulative
recording.
trauma, ergonomics, because it's always gone under illness.
yeah, probably just still.
But I thought
keep
they
it
were going
under
to add
injury.
that on there. All right. So anyway, that's the walk down to 300.
Yeah.
So we're not done though.
Nah, we got.
If we
300
found
to
those
get.
3 cases way back from 2016 that needed to be recorded, oh man, we got to go back and find all the information out. When did they get prescribed lost time? When did they doctor say, okay, now you can go back to work? When did he say you can go back to full duty? So let's say we got all those done.
Okay.
And now we're looking at this next form, the 300A. Let's say we got all of our recordable injuries on there from 2016.
Okay.
And now we got to fill out the
Good for us.
2016 summary of that year.
Yes.
If you did the Excel spreadsheet from OSHA, it's already done for you. Well,
Super
not
handy.
really. Actually.
I mean, it's honestly all the transfer information that you had to
yeah,
transfer.
that stuff's there.
Yeah, so it already put all of your stuff tabulated. It's already
But
been added
for
up.
me as a safety guy, when I have to fill out a 300A, I don't get to.
Okay.
I can't.
Right. There's
I
some
bet
stuff
you
we don't know.
can't. I bet you can't either.
There's some stuff we don't have.
And they won't let us have access to those systems that has the information, so we have to rely on someone else to get us the information.
They got to finish it.
And that information is total numbers worked by all employees.
And the
Total number of hours worked and the annual average number of employees.
Yep.
And I don't know that stuff.
We
Safety
don't have it.
guys don't know that stuff.
Can't just.
I
make a
got to go
number
to
up.
HR and make them mad.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, HR, how you doing? Safety here.
How you doing?
I need you to take a couple hours out of your day so I can fill out this form. I need this information. And they got to go back to 2016. That's our case where
That's
a
that's
company
the-
had to go back and recreate them. And they got to find out all, and they usually go into their payroll software.
Well, should be that hard.
Yeah, that's one
Hopefully.
way to do it.
I would hope.
And find the total hours. But what we tell them to do is all hours, man.
Everything. The more hours on
Everything.
there, the better.
I'm talking clerical. It says company wide. It doesn't
Yeah.
say just the people in the field.
Yeah, the owners, office staff, temporary workers.
Which really helps on your TRIRs.
Yep. Total recordable incident, right?
Yeah, and all of that stuff. So you want as many hours as you put in there. Not
Yep.
fictitious, but every hour that anybody spent on that job in 2016 for that company.
Yeah.
You want in that number.
I mean, as an example, just to put it in small numbers so it kind of makes more sense, is if I had a company and I only work 10 hours in a week and I got one injury with only 10 hours of exposure, we look pretty dangerous.
right.
But if I got another company that's got 100 hours and we got one injury, it's like, whoa, these guys are way safer because out of 100 hours, they only got one injury.
Right.
If it was the other company, they would have had 10 injuries in those 100 hours.
Right.
So that's why they want to see as many hours on there as possible. They want you recording everything that's legitimate. So all office, all owners, people doing temporary work, all your field, like everybody. You want all the hours recorded.
And then the annual average number of employees. And that's not your max number or your min number. It's your average number.
No, and that number, the way they tell us to get it is really annoying. What they want you to do to figure out your average is you take every week of your payroll or however you figure payroll, and however many people you paid in that payroll becomes one, and then you got to add that up. You know, let's say you pay every other week. We got 26 payrolls.
Okay.
So then you've got 10 employees this one and 12 that one, 11 that one. They want you to add all those up and then divide by 26. And then that's
Wow.
your average number.
And then the most common violation I see on the 300A is it's not signed by a company executive.
Right. It'll just be like office person
Or not at all.
or zero signature.
Yeah, I see that unsigned all the time. And I also see that they don't have the year posted on that top right corner. It's blank.
That's an easy one to miss, though.
Yeah,
because it's
for
like
sure.
it's off up in the distance.
Yeah. And by the way, the 300A we're talking about, that's the one you're supposed to post.
Yep.
I
knew it was coming.
AJ, can you please tell our listening audience the time frame they're supposed to post the 300A?
So you're supposed to post the last year's 300A from the beginning of February to the end of April.
Yeah, so
you have
February
that.
1st, April 30th.
Yeah, you have that little section there where it has to be posted. So
Which
in
it says it
2021
right on that form.
It does, actually. So
It says it right on
you don't have to worry
the
about forgetting.
300A
It's
form.
right there.
But I see 300As put up all year.
Which, is it wrong?
No, it's not wrong. It's just
Nothing wrong.
overdoing it. It's a dirty laundry, though.
Well, yeah, you just wait. Well, unless you got nothing on there.
Right, which I'm dubious about.
Then you're just bragging.
Zeros.
Zero.
But,
That's pretty common.
So if OSHA came and it's April 17th and they don't see the previous year's 300A up, they could cite you.
Oh, yeah. They know.
If you were required to do
If
the
you're
logs.
required
If
to
you're
do
under
the logs.
10 or if you're not in the NAICS,
Yeah, you're on the no-no list.
exemption list,
Yes.
then you're out of that citation.
And that thing is hard to say a lot.
Yeah.
NAICS.
Yeah. Probably better than
NAICS.
saying it all out, though.
NAICS.
So, tell me, Mr. AJ, where are they supposed to put that thing? Can
Well-
I hang it in the boss's office?
So you have some options. It's like they kind of give us a broad place, but they basically say it has to be in a place where employees would normally congregate or in plain view of your staff. So like normal places would
So
be like
the
break
smoking area
rooms.
outside.
Yeah, break rooms,
That's
lunch
where employees
rooms.
congregate.
Yeah, I mean,
But not all of them.
right. So yeah, places where employees would normally go. So like right in your office, in prominent view, or a break room, or
Yeah, usually, break room, some kind
Yeah.
of hallway that's employees and not customers. It's not for customers.
Right.
It's for employees.
it's for employees.
The whole point of that 300A, doing that, posting that, is so an employee can see that because it's in an area where they frequent.
Yeah.
It's not hidden. And that employee could go, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa!
I don't want to work
Yes
here
way,
anymore.
Ted.
No way. I don't want to work here anymore. Why? Look at our company's injury,
Yeah.
numbers. Last year, there was like 5 lost time injuries and 13 restricted duty injuries.
Yeah.
And look, there was guys off work from being injured for a total of 252 days last year. And people were on light duty in this company last year 375 days.
Yeah, you can see
This company's scary to work for.
you can see the deaths, you can see the days away, you can see the actual specific injuries. Be like, man, somebody working here had their arm cut off, or
Right.
like a serious laceration or broken hand.
Well,
like-
actually, I don't think you see any of that on the 300A.
oh no, not on 300.
Yeah. But you do see the
Yeah, you can
amounts.
see the numbers.
And it's a summary because personally identifiable information is stripped off.
Yeah.
There's no employee name. And that column F's not there, but
No.
they still get a good idea how safe a company is.
Yeah.
Now,
Still see the
honestly,
deaths.
do you know any employee that's ever read a 300A?
I mean, I know a few. I work with a few places, and like the one that's always posting the break room, they have actually been really after like not getting injured as much.
Right?
And so they're like, oh man, is this year going to be smaller than last year? So like, I know a few of them are looking at it.
It would be cool if like they were as interested in that as like the draft, like the NFL draft.
Oh yeah. If they
All waiting to see the number 1 draft pick. Like, it'd be
Yeah.
funny if it's like February 29th or whatever. And all these people are waiting in the break room for the safety person to put up that. Or no, it'd have to be January 31st. Yeah, sorry. There we
They're
go.
just like crowded.
It's January 31st, and they know that safety guy's on it, and they're gonna post it by February 1st. So they're all waiting in the break room for the safety guy to come out with the annual summary and post it up to see how good they did.
You are dreaming.
Yeah,
But it would be cool.
yeah,
it would be really cool.
for people to care about safety of themselves, their coworkers, the company, and we're gonna do one soon on safety return on investment and talk about the money and the
Yeah.
business side of it because it's a big deal. But let's not get into that. All right, AJ. We did that, man. We did that 300A for 16. We did the same
Yep.
for 17, 18, 19, 20. Woo! Now it's 2021. Can I wait now that I'm all caught up? Should I wait till January 2022 to fill out my 2021 forms?
You're not supposed to. No, no, no.
It's illegal, isn't it?
It is illegal. That's
All
why I
right.
said you're not supposed to.
AJ, when I realize an injury meets the recordable criteria, how many days do I have to get it on my 300?
I know this is wrong, but in my head, it's always telling me it's 2 days of when you find out to put it on the log. Yeah.
7.
You have 7 days?
Yeah, 7
Oh,
days
wow,
from
that's
the.
really lazy.
Well, it's not. I mean, because like sometimes things are weird. Like things move slow. Injuries. Like.
See, for me, it's digital. Like I find out, I pop it on there, and then I'm in. And then if
Well,
something's
no,
got
no.
to change, you just go back.
It doesn't
and
take
change.
long to record it, but it takes long to find out if it's recordable.
Oh no, because I thought it was from when you find out.
Yeah, you got 7 days when you find out
From
it's
when you find
recordable.
out, yeah.
You can fact check me, but that's
I think you're right.
that's going off
I
my
think it's
memory.
a week.
All right, so you fill it out as you go. You don't want to wait till the end of the year and try to go back. You fill it out as you go. It's a working log. It's something you can get in there and edit.
You're always on it.
Yeah.
You got to upload it. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, hopefully you're not always on it. Hopefully you're not always on it.
Yeah, you're not always just recording injuries. All right, so now I realize there's another form. I thought I was good. I got all 5 years of 300s, 300 days. I got my 2021 updated where we're at to this point. But then this crazy safety guy, this evil safety guy named AJ says, there's also a 301 form.
He's a terrible guy, by the way.
And I was like,
Atrocious.
So what can you tell the listeners about the 301?
Okay, the 301 is your injury and illness incident report.
Okay, so it's an incident report.
Right.
So
From OSHA.
I already got one. My company has an incident report. Why do I got to fill out OSHA's incident report?
Okay, hang on. I'm actually reading because there's a thing that says, well, anyway. So it says within 7 calendar days after you receive information that a recordable work-related injury or illness has occurred, you must fill out this form or an equivalent.
Yeah.
So if, like you said, you already have your own company's one and you've been filling it out, as long as it has the required information on it, you're good.
Okay.
Because
so
you either have to fill out this one or that one. But
here's
you
the
can't
problem.
have no form.
when I'm auditing OSHA logs for a company, and we get to this 301, and they say, we don't want to do that, we have our own form.
Okay.
So my job, as you just read, as a consultant, say, that's cool, that's great. You can use your own form as long as it's equivalent.
Yes.
So what does equivalent mean?
They're specific. They say it has to have the exact same information. So each
Minimally.
form, yes.
Minimally.
Yeah. Yours can have more,
At a minimal.
but it has to at least have these things.
Yeah, which I have never read, ever, a company incident report that asks everything that one asked, the OSHA 300.
Should we go over this one?
Sure.
All right. So the first thing it says is who completed it.
Okay. So
Easy
that's usually on there.
Yeah.
On most of them.
So it's who completed it, the title of that person, their phone number, and what was the date it was completed.
Which that stuff's not on most companies' incident report. Maybe
No.
who completed it, but not their phone number and their
Exactly.
title and all that.
So they're going to want the information on who completed it.
Right?
Information about the employee. They want the employee's name. And then it goes street, city, state, and zip code.
Okay.
So the employee, their address, their date of birth, and their date hired.
Data hire.
They do want sex on there.
Right?
Information about the physician or other healthcare professional.
Which that is one where I've never seen on a company's internal incident report. The
Right.
name of the physician who treated them. It's
Right.
just not on there.
It's not. They want the physician's name. They want their treatment clinic or facility, the address of that place. Was the employee treated in an ER? Was the employee hospitalized? And then they want the case number. So that, again, that would be the thing that we created for it. So
That first column in the
yeah.
300.
16-1. They
Yeah.
want that number. The date of the injury or illness, time the employee
Okay.
began work that day.
So what you're about to read on is kind of the standard stuff on most people's
Right.
incident reports.
Yep.
But that first whole section you read usually is not on there.
Actually, yes.
But yeah, let's finish up. What else has to be on there?
Sure. So then it was the date of the injury, the time the employee began work that day, the time of the event that it took place. And there is a box that says check if cannot be determined, because sometimes the employee's going to be like, I don't know when that was. I've been sitting here in the waiting room for like 4 hours.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was 7 or 8. I have no idea. Like, they don't know. What was the employee doing? So then you have to describe the activity that led up to it.
Right.
And
Column
then-
F stuff.
Yep. And then next,
Or no, that's different.
well, yeah, because so describe the activity. In their example, they say working with a hand drill.
Okay, so
So-
it is kind of column F
Yeah,
stuff.
but
yeah.
The part that doesn't include the injury. So you'd say,
Right.
what were they doing? Oh, I was climbing a ladder. I was using a
Right.
drill. 15, what happened? That's when you describe, what happened. Did they slip with the hammer? Did they fall off the ladder? Describe what happened. And then 16 was describe the injury or illness. So at that point, the hammer, crushed the thumb, broke a bone, or when they fell off a ladder, they broke their hip or whatever. And then after that one, what object or substance directly harmed the employee? Well,
Okay, that's column F
Yep.
stuff there.
there you go. And then the very last thing is, if the employee died, when did death occur?
All
Date of
right.
death.
So
That's the whole thing.
everybody listening that doesn't want to use OSHA's ugly 301 form, cool.
That's great.
Just take every single question off of it and look and see if your form has it, and if it doesn't, add it.
Right.
Now your form will be ugly too.
It would be terrible.
Once it'd be a double pager.
Yep.
Once you add all that in there. But that's your 3 forms: your 300, your 300A, and your 301. And they're ongoing forms. You do them as you go. You don't wait till the beginning of the next year to do it. Got to get it on within 7 days. And not everything has to go on there. How many times have we told a client, you could take that one off?
Yep.
Doesn't meet any of the recordable criteria, because most people think that every incident or injury has to go on there, and that's just not true.
Now, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that if you want to be just a super nice guy, and let's say the employee's like, oh, man, I got hurt, I'm not feeling so good, and you're like, oh, okay, well, why don't you just take tomorrow off?
Okay.
And they never saw a doctor.
Right.
Did that all of a sudden make that case an OSHA recordable?
In my opinion, no.
Right.
It also does not make it recordable if they say, "Oh, I'm not feeling good."
They call in sick.
Differently. Like, "Oh man, I tweaked my back lifting all them boxes today at work.
Yeah.
I'm calling in. I'm not going in tomorrow, boss."
Right.
That's not lost time.
See, and your description and mine are things that I have had to take off of
Oh, 100%.
record
Yeah.
or record logs a couple times.
Yeah.
Because people they want to be on it, and they're like being good. They're like, AJ, I know you said if there's lost time, and we gave him the day off. I'm like, well, did he come right back to work? They're like, yeah. I'm like, did he ever need anything beyond first aid? Like,
Right.
he just went home and got some bed rest. That's all
Yeah.
that happened. They're like, oh yeah. I'm
If
like,
the doctor didn't prescribe it, it doesn't count.
right?
That's how I look at it.
Well, yeah, because there was no medical need for lost time.
Right.
They just got some bed rest and called it good, and now they're done.
There's
So-
no medical prescription for it.
Right. Exactly.
All right, cool. Well, so that was a pretty decent little recap
We tore into it all right.
of the OSHA record-keeping rules. Of course, we could do an 8-hour
That
podcast
was a
on
nice
that.
surface brush.
We could go into so many different tricky cases and how difficult it was and exacerbations. And we should tell people, though, that you only have to record injuries that happen that year. If the injury is still ongoing to the next year, it doesn't have to go on.
Yeah, you only record one
2022.
injury one time.
Yeah, so if they're still hurt or on light duty come 2022, that's not on your 2022 logs.
And to be fair, I guess since we're capping off a couple of those things, you never record lost time or days away from work past 180 days.
That's awesome. That's a cap,
It
a
caps.
max. And, oh, man, I had another one on there, too.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so many
so many.
little nuances there.
But yeah, so if you had an employee who had an injury, let's say 2 years ago they broke a bone, and then it gets taken care of, they get that bone fixed. The next year, maybe they start having an issue with the exact same injury, that same bone, and they go back to see the doctor, and then maybe the doctor puts them on light duty. That doesn't make a brand new case. It's not a new light duty case. It's the exact same injury. But if something hurt the same thing and it is a new case, you can't just get away with it and be like, it's the same finger. Be like, no, he smashed it with a hammer. That's a brand new injury. So like there is some it gets messy, man. Like
record keeping's messy, super messy stuff. It's not always cut and dry.
No, but that's why we're here.
All right, everybody. I hope we thoroughly confused you.
Hooray!
And there's some cool guidebooks and frequently asked questions and some record
I busted
keeping
out a
help
brand new swear word for us today.
on the which is fitting for record keeping. If I think of swearing and safety,
If we're gonna swear in a podcast,
it's usually about record keeping.
it should be record keeping.
All right, guys.
Perfect.
Until next time, we are the Evil Safety Dudes. Stay safe, everybody.